And before I get started, I just want to take a moment to thank all of my supporters and everyone for supporting my channel. So with that being said, let's get on down to today's lecture, which is hand deliver your marketing material to promote your products and services in relation to your business, and that's one of the things I've been doing although I do have a home office, and I have been working a lot behind the scene to reintegrate another service under my company that I have kickstarted, and that is the SAP DOT return to duty process. I'm a DOT recognized evaluator, so for any of those people who work for truck companies or they're a truck driver and they fail a drug screen, one of that process is they have to be evaluated by a DOT qualified substance abuse professional who holds those powerful credentials in order to get them back into compliance to go back to work. And by me holding those credentials and now providing those services again under my company, one of the things I've done is I've done a lot of marketing. Yeah, you can do a lot of marketing by online and sending stuff out to stakeholders, and your email will be amongst thousands of emails they got to filter through. But one of the things I've always done as a being in business is I also engage stakeholders face to face to put marketing material in their hand. I would speak to that compliance officer or that supervisor at that facility or that trucking company. And when I begin to speak that DOT language, they already know what I'm talking about. And I'll literally put in their hand a marketing folder of my services. And in this folder, they're going to clearly, it's information on where they can pull up my federal credential online to verify my credential. It's going to be a part of that marketing folder. Also, a part of that marketing folder, I have information on my services, explaining the DOT return to duty process, the role that I play when individuals who are violators, who have failed the drug screen, rather they test positive for alcohol, drugs, marijuana, methamphetamine, and their CDL holder, driver holder, they have to be removed from that safety sensitive function and eventually contact someone with the appropriate credential to evaluate them to get them back into compliance. So that information is in that marketing folder. Also, I give them information on the return to duty process, the role of the medical review officer, the role of me, the SAP, the role of the employer, and what that violator must do in terms of contacting the appropriate person with the credential to evaluate them and guide them through the process to get back into compliance if they ever want to work again. Anyone who is a CDL holder and drive those big old trucks that's regulated by federal government, DOT. So if you become a violator because you failed the drug screen, that person's name is going to appear in a federal database. They can't work nowhere in this country because their name's going to pop up until they get back into compliance. So I have that information in that marketing folder that I'm hand delivering. More information on the process. That employer, that compliance officer, when they see this, they're going to know what I'm talking about. Also, just more rich information on the DOT return to duty process. According to the federal guidelines, trucking company, if they do not remove a truck driver who has failed a drug screen from behind that wheel and they're inspected by a DOT auditor, that DOT auditor inspector can shut that company down and fine them serious money, real talk. Also, in this marketing folder, I have, which is the most important, many copies of my referral forms in regards to what that violator can do to get in contact with Marie Holiday so I can get the ball rolling. And this is real talk. It's been the Department of Transportation They regulate this, they monitor this. My files are inspected by DOT inspectors. I have to maintain professional liability insurance in the amount of $3 million. So I've been doing this for over 24 years. So I am, since I'm reintegrating this service back under my company, I've done it before, let it lie dormant, is I'm going to make it my business to engage stakeholders face to face, these various trucking companies in a certain geographical area, a minimum of 5 a month face to face, where I'm out there in the field doing the footwork, because I know when these truckers fail these drug screens, their names are also randomly pulled. They have to have random drug tests, reasonable suspicion drug tests, pre-employment drug tests, post-accident drug tests, and it is a must. It is not mandatory. I mean, it's mandatory. It's not optional. So I got many of my referral forms that compliance officer at that trucking company is going to be a part of this marketing folder. I'm already getting calls. In that marketing folder, I also give them, that compliance officer, many of my business cards, and I let that compliance officer know that I do not accept walk-ins. If that violator is interested in getting back into compliance so they can save their career, they're going to have to call me. I'm going to set them up for an appointment, and that's how they get the ball rolling. And these services are not free, people. You know, individuals who are qualified to do this work at this level can either be a medical doctor or a credential addiction expert who hold these particular credentials and recognized by DOT. So I'm sure literally at this level of the credentials I hold is literally shoulder to shoulder to a medical doctor who does this type of work in terms of the DOT return to duty process. So this is what the compliance officer at the trucking company get when I'm engaging them in the real world, marketing my product, marketing my service, because bottom line, it's all about compliance. You know, these employers under the federal guidelines, they are required to, before they even refer anybody to me, they got to first verify my credentials. They got to make sure whatever qualified substance abuse professional that they are referring their truckers to who are in violation because they failed a drug screen, that employer have to make sure you check my credentials out, and I give them in my folder the information on where they can literally go into the federal database, the national database, to pull me up to verify my credential before you refer one of your truckers who have failed a drug screen, and now they're going to be seen by somebody like me for that substance abuse clinical evaluation and level of care recommendation. And at the very end, when that violator has done everything according to the recommendation, I upload into the federal database on the date that they have now are eligible to right to the safety sensitive position. This is heavily regulated. So, and I tell anybody, you know, there's a place for emails and all of that and online stuff, but I've been doing this for over 24 years. And I know these trucking companies, these compliance officers, they want something in their hand. They ain't got time to filter through thousands and thousands of emails. And from a strategy standpoint, from a business standpoint, this particular piece right here that I'm going to provide, again, under my company, Patterson Associates Resource Center, is going to have a direct impact on increasing my revenue that I make under my company by leaps and bounds, people. Real talk. But on the flip side, I got to know my stuff. I got to have the credentials to back this up. I got to have my files audit ready at any given time where I'm audited by a DOT inspector. I got to have my policies and procedures in place, which is the driving force behind this particular service. Number one, to protect my credentials. I'm credentialed in 3 different states. I'm credentialed at the national level, the federal level. I got to protect mine. So you better believe I'm going to have policies and procedures in place. Rather, they want the hard copy, the electronic copy, because if I'm audited, whatever that auditor asks me in terms of let me see your files, let me see your policies and procedures, let me see your recent DOT files on individuals who are referred to you, those violators, because they can pull it up. But I also got to have the evidence to back it up, because I'm telling you, you know, service agents. And who we call service agents in this profession is that qualified DOT substance abuse professional, someone at my level of credentials, that medical rehab officer, that employer, all those trucking companies, and all of those stakeholders. We have to abide by certain federal guidelines to do what we do to ensure that these roads are safe. And a trucker is not behind the wheel impaired and behind that wheel when they should not be. This is serious business. And like I said, I've been doing this for 24 plus years under my company. I have restarted these services again. And bottom line, when I'm interfacing with these trucking companies, they gotta verify my credential. And I tell that compliance officer, don't send me nobody. Because according to the federal guidelines, you got to verify my federal credential before you refer somebody to me, and then we'll be ready to get down to business. This is real talk, people. And I am going to make it a point for the next solid year. I'm going to be out in the field, face-to-face, engaging a minimum of 5 stakeholders a month. 5 stakeholders a month, 5 different trucking companies a month, interfacing to market my product, my service, my brand, and also, most importantly, to establish that rapport. Because bottom line, the rural of trucking, the trucking rural, rather you believe this or not, make this big old wide rural go around. Everything has been moved by trucking. Clothes, food, furniture, cars, electronics, everything in this rural, timber is moved by those truckers, real talk. And if they're out of compliance, or if a trucking company fails a DOT audit, that DOT has the power to shut down that company, real talk. So a qualified substance abuse professional at the level of credentials I have, those trucking companies, they must collaborate and consult with someone at my level with my credential, because they're going to have to refer those violators, real talk. So again, face-to-face marketing for your product and services and brand will have a direct impact on increasing your revenue that you provide and applicable to that service. It would have a direct impact on your monthly revenue under your company, rising and rising and rising. But you better have the goods to bring to the table. You better have the knowledge and the skills to bring to the table. If the service you're providing is contingent upon a specific credential, you better have the credential to back it up. You better have the professional liability insurance to protect your product, protect your brand, to protect your credentials and everything that you have worked hard for. Real talk. This is real business, people. This is real business, because I'm telling you, the rural of trucking has a direct impact on making this rural spin and go around with everything that you have in your house right now. At one point, came off a truck, was loaded into a truck, and came off a truck. Literally everything that you have in your house, your car that you're driving, is being pulled by a truck, people. This is real talk. So marketing should play a big role if you are in any kind of business. Marketing, real life, face-to-face marketing plays a big role if you want to see increased growth under your business, real talk. So that's all I have on this topic. Simplify, simple fidelis, and I'm going to leave you in the care of your own conscience. Have a great day.